Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're looking at something, well, maybe a bit uncomfortable. What happens when you decide to just ignore a debt collector? We all get those calls, right? And that urge to just hang up or toss the letter,
Yeah.
it's definitely strong.
Oh, absolutely. It's totally understandable to want to avoid that kind of stress.
But our mission today really is to unpack the actual consequences of doing that, so listeners can make informed decisions and maybe avoid some negative outcomes down the line.
Exactly. We're drawing on some recent discussions around this topic to see what the common path looks like.
Okay, so let's start there. The phone rings, maybe a letter arrives, you ignore it. What's the immediate, step one from their side?
Well, initially expect more of the same, honestly. The calls will likely keep coming. More letters will probably show up.
Right. Persistence?
Yeah, they're trying to make contact, let you know about the debt. Standard procedure, really.
Yeah. Okay, constant reminders. Annoying, but maybe not world-ending yet. But what happens if this keeps going? If you just keep ignoring them, what's the next level?
So if they really can't reach you, a common escalation is reporting that debt to the credit bureaus, assuming it wasn't already listed, of course.
Okay. And what does that mean, practically speaking, for someone's finances?
Well, that can seriously ding your credit score and a lower score. That makes getting loans, credit cards, even renting an apartment potentially harder or definitely more expensive.
Right, so it starts having real-world financial impacts. What else could happen? Is that it?
Not necessarily. Another thing they might do is sell the debt.
Sell it. To who?
To another collection agency. And the kicker is this often means the whole collection process kind of resets. You'll start getting calls and letters about the same debt, but now from a completely different company.
Oh, wow. So ignoring it doesn't make it disappear, it just changes hands.
Exactly. It just recycles the problem, essentially.
Okay, that's persistent. Let's talk about the more serious side then, the legal possibilities.
Right. So if the debt is still within what's called the statute of limitations, and this is really important,
Okay.
that time frame varies. It depends on the type of debt where you live. Checking your local laws is key here. But if it's within that window, they could actually file a lawsuit against you.
A lawsuit, like actually take you to court over the debt.
Yes, it's a potential step.
And, what if someone ignores that too? To pretend the lawsuit isn't happening?
That's a really risky move. If you don't respond to the court summons, the court can issue something called a default judgment against you. Basically, they rule in favor of the collector because you didn't show up or respond.
Okay, a default judgment. What power does that give the collector? What can they do with that?
Well, a default judgment is a legal tool. It can give the collector the authority to pursue things like wage garnishment.
Taking money right out of your paycheck.
Exactly. Or they might be able to freeze your bank accounts.
Freeze your accounts. Wow.
Yeah, or even place liens on your property. Now, these specific actions, they do vary quite a bit depending on state laws.
Right.
But the bottom line is it can seriously disrupt your financial stability. It's not just annoying calls anymore at that point.
No kidding. So ignoring it can lead down a path with really severe financial hits. And presumably all of this further tanks your credit score.
Oh, absolutely. Ignoring the debt, ignoring a lawsuit, getting a default judgment, all of that piles on negative information to your credit report, makes future borrowing financial goals much, much harder.
Okay, so message received. Avoidance is not a winning strategy here.
Yeah.
What should someone do then if they're getting these calls feeling overwhelmed?
Right. Well, first off, try to stay calm. Panicking doesn't help.
Easier said than done sometimes, but okay.
True. But then if you're not even sure the debt is yours or the amount seems wrong, a really important step is to request debt validation in writing.
Debt validation, what's it exactly?
It's basically asking the collector to prove it. Prove the debt is yours, prove the amount is correct, and prove they have the legal right to collect it from you. They're required by law to provide that if you ask within a certain time frame.
Okay, verify the claim. Makes sense. What if the debt is legit, but you genuinely can't afford to pay it all right now?
That's a common situation. In that case, the next step is usually to try and negotiate. Talk to the collection agency about a payment plan you can afford, or maybe even a settlement offer paying a lump sum that's less than the full amount owed.
And they might actually agree to that.
Often, yes. They'd rather get something than nothing. But, and this is crucial, get any agreement you make in writing before you send any money.
Get it in writing. Got it. Super important. And what if someone just feels totally lost in all this? Like negotiation feels too intimidating.
Yeah, if you're feeling overwhelmed, don't go it alone. Look for help from reputable nonprofit credit counselors. They can offer guidance and help you figure out options. Or, in some cases, consulting a consumer rights attorney might be necessary.
So there are resources out there. Good to know.
Definitely.
Okay, so really, the big takeaway seems pretty clear. Just ignoring debt collectors. It doesn't make the problem vanish. In fact, it usually makes things worse.
Exactly. Facing it head on, even though it's uncomfortable, actually gives you more control. It opens up potential solutions.
Right, whether that's verifying it, negotiating, or getting some expert help. Being proactive is key.
Precisely. You get to address the issue on your terms, to some extent.
So maybe a final thought for our listeners, just thinking about how tackling these kinds of uncomfortable financial issues proactively, not just debt collection, but maybe budgeting or saving too, how that can actually lead to more peace of mind in the long run. It's often better than letting things fester.
Well said. Taking action usually feels better than avoidance, ultimately.
Thanks for diving deep with us today.
If this podcast helped you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your support helps us keep making these videos. Thanks for watching.